History does not always change with explosions. Sometimes it changes in silence. In a quiet room in Mashhad in 1939, a child was born into poverty. No throne, no army, no wealth. Decades later, global superpowers would debate one question. How do you confront a man who built power without ever chasing it? This is the story of a system shaped by ideology, and the man who became its silent architect. He rarely raises his voice. He rarely appears before cameras. Yet his decisions ripple across the Middle East. From Lebanon to Yemen, from Gaza to Washington. For more than 4 decades, he has stood at the center of a geopolitical storm. Sanctions, covert operations, proxy wars, assassination plots. Presidents have come and gone. Governments have fallen. But he remains. This is not a story of heroism, and it is not a story of villainy. It is a story of power, the kind that grows slowly, quietly, relentlessly. July 17, 1939. Mashhad, Iran. A modest home near the Shrine City. Books stacked against worn walls. Simple meals. No luxury. His father was a religious scholar. Strict, disciplined, principled. There was no wealth in that house, but there was thought. From a young age, he chose the seminary, not as escape, but as inquiry. He did not memorize blindly. He questioned. Religion fascinated him, but so did politics, philosophy, literature, history. He read Persian poetry, Arabic theology, Western political theory. He studied Lenin. He studied revolution. He studied resistance. This fusion would define him. He was not preparing for a pulpit. He was preparing for conflict. The 1960s in Iran felt stable. The Shah appeared powerful. The military was modern. Oil money flowed. But beneath the surface, pressure built. Political dissent was crushed. Religious leaders were watched. America backed the throne. And in the holy city of Qom, a voice rose. A cleric challenged the Shah. He spoke of sovereignty, of independence, of dignity. The regime responded with prison and exile. The young seminarian from Mashhad listened carefully, first as a student, then as an activist. Soon, surveillance followed him, then arrest, solitary confinement, interrogations, torture. Prison was meant to silence him. Instead, it hardened him. He wrote. He reflected. He planned. He did not dream of office. He imagined transformation. The Shah falls. Crowds flood the streets. Exiles return. The revolution succeeds. He is not the central figure, not the face of the uprising, but he is inside the machinery. He takes roles in cultural leadership, media oversight, political coordination. Then, 1981, a mosque, a speech, an explosion tears through the hall. He survives. One arm is permanently damaged. The message is clear. The revolution is not secure. Violence leaves scars. From that day forward, caution deepens. Trust narrows. Control tightens. Later that same year, he becomes president. But real authority still lies elsewhere. He observes. He learns. War with Iraq consumes the nation. Cities burn. Young men die. He studies governance under fire. He watches how systems survive crisis. He takes notes. The revolutionary founder dies. Power stands at a crossroads. Iran needs a new supreme leader. Few expect his name. He does not yet hold the highest clerical rank. But alliances matter. The Revolutionary Guard supports him. Political elites accept him. The vote passes. A president becomes supreme leader. In that moment, history tilts, and the real consolidation begins. He moves slowly. First, the military. The Revolutionary Guard becomes more than soldiers. It becomes ideological guardians. Then, the judiciary. Loyalty ensures stability. Then, media. Narratives shape perception. Elections continue. Presidents rotate, but ultimate authority rests above them. Dissent is allowed to breathe, but not to dominate. Protests erupt at times. They are contained. Sanctions tighten. The economy strains. Yet the system does not collapse. Why? Because power is layered. Clerical institutions, security agencies, intelligence networks, parallel structures. He does not rule alone. He rules through architecture. For Washington, the problem is not personality. It is ideology. He rejects American dominance. He rejects normalization with Israel. He frames resistance as duty. Instead of direct war, he favors proxies. Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Gaza, all become pieces on a strategic board. The objective is simple. Avoid direct confrontation. Apply pressure indirectly. Israel feels it from the north and south. U.S. forces feel in Iraq. This is asymmetrical warfare by design. Sanctions follow. Oil restrictions, banking isolation, trade barriers. But he pushes self-reliance, domestic production, strategic patience. For decades pass. He is still there. Intelligence reports whisper of plots, assassination attempts, poisoning fears, covert sabotage. None succeed. Debates circulate in foreign policy circles. Remove the leader. The system collapses. But the calculation is flawed. He is not a single pillar. He built redundancy. If he disappears tomorrow, institutions remain. Succession is structured. The assembly of experts holds formal authority. Behind the scenes, acceptable candidates are groomed. Continuity is engineered. That reality frustrates adversaries. Because you can eliminate a person, you cannot easily eliminate a structure. Iran has not been calm. Protests flare periodically. Economic hardship bites. Young generations demand change. The leadership responds with firmness. Security forces intervene. Media narratives counter unrest. Critics call it repression. Supporters call it preservation. The system survives each wave. Not unchanged, but intact. What happens if he is suddenly removed? Power vacuums are dangerous. Within Iran, factions could compete. Guards, clerics, politicians. Externally, rivals might miscalculate. If Washington or Tel Aviv assumes weakness, escalation could follow. History teaches a harsh lesson. When structures fracture abruptly, conflict expands. Stability does not always mean peace, but collapse rarely means calm. This story is not about good or evil. It is about endurance. A child from a modest home who read poetry and revolution and lived long enough to reshape a region. He rarely shouts. He rarely smiles for cameras. Yet files, maps, and war rooms carry his imprint. He built a system designed to outlive him. And that may be his greatest strategy. Power born from ideology moves differently than power born from weapons. It survives sanctions. It survives pressure. It survives time. Whether one agrees or disagrees with his vision, its impact cannot be ignored. To understand the Middle East, you must understand the architecture behind it. And sometimes, the loudest force in history is the one that speaks the least.